I am Andrés Pacheco Lozano, and together with Professor Fernando Enz, we coordinate the one-year master program called Peace, Trauma and Religion, hosted by the Faculty of Religion and Theology at the VU Amsterdam.
I am Daniel Serrano Bernal, and I'm a student of the Peace, Trauma and Religion Master Specialization program.
So today we have seen how this global pandemic has made or has shed light into some of the topics we have been engaging with. Topics such as colonialism, trauma have affected and keep fueling some of the conflicts around the world. We have seen questions about racism, gender justice, migration, neo-colonialism re-emerging. We have seen more and more how traumas, unhealed traumas of the past have resurfaced, and we want to understand what is happening at the moment. At the same time, we have witnessed how many social movements and protests have been organized to basically stand against these forms of injustice. We have seen the Me Too movement, Black Lives Matter, and also we have seen and witnessed protests against police brutality in contexts and countries like the US and Colombia as well.
Originally, I'm coming from Colombia. And in my country, we have seen a conflict of more than 60 years. And when I was a teenager, I was like really tempted to be part of this mess by myself because of the ongoing injustice, of the structural human violation, of the different and difficult phases of what you can find of the perpetrators there, like paramilitary forces, military forces, the police, the insurgent groups, and all of this has been created a terrible space that it is inviting you to be part. But instead of that, because of the Mennonite Church and historical Peace Church, I realized another ways of overcoming, of transforming the conflict, that is by like the transformation through nonviolent actions.
It is for all of this that studying trauma and peace and conflict studies is not just confined to places where there's open war or where there's armed conflicts or where there are terrorist attacks. The digger, as long as you look closer to different realities, which apparently seem peaceful or seem to be on the surface okay, you will realize soon enough that there are actually many injustices operating in the underground. For example, in contexts like the Netherlands. That is why we want to understand how justice, peace, and reconciliation can become possible in these different societies. One of the characteristics of this master program is the focus and special attention on the role of religion, both in conflicts but also in peace building. I think, to me at least, that's one of the most fascinating things of this field of research.
A particularity that made me to choose this study was to understand the role of religion inside of the Colombian conflict. It was not just like the part of it is because of politics or it's because of economy. Thus, my hope was to understand better what are like the different phases of conflict. Racism, gender violence, colonialism. The variety of the phases of the conflict were really confusing. They're really mixed with each other. You can find like racism mixed with military and paramilitary actions, poverty, and the exploitation of our beautiful nature by like transnational companies that they're spread like from Canada to Europe and Australia.
In political analysis, religion is often overlooked as a factor in understanding conflict. Yet, let's say around 80% of the population in the world still find religion an important element in their lives. That is why if you miss understanding religion as a factor in peace and conflict studies, you will be missing a part or a lenses through which you can understand people's behavior in communities' actions. Often, ethical and political decisions that people made are based on those beliefs. You will see the power of religion once you start detecting the linkages it has with phenomena like nationalism. Yet at the same time, religion is an important resource, a spiritual and ethical resource for many communities to seek to transform injustices through nonviolence. For instance, Pray the Devil Back to Hell was a movement by women of faith in Liberia which resulted in the end of the conflict. This master program studies concrete cases and gives you enough elements, tools, and knowledge to be able to be part of the growing peace and conflicts field of studies.
One last factor is gender violence that is being used as a weapon within war. And this is really also help with the colonizing narrative that is also related with the religion narrative that is being part of our country since 1492. The PTR program has helped me to understand how all these factors are being working together in contexts like Colombia.
Peace, Trauma, and Religion is one of the master specialization programs that belong to the one-year Theology and Religious Studies at the Faculty of Religion and Theology. This particular master program covers introductory courses such as Peace with Justice and Religion in the Public Sphere. In those courses, we will try to cover topics like racism, colonialism, whiteness, and so on. But also we will try to engage with topics such as reconciliation, models or the strategies of restorative justice, and nonviolent peace building. Next to these introductory courses, we will have a focus or a special attention on trauma and trauma healing. So that will be also an important part of the program. We will, especially at the second semester of the academic year, we will have, or you will have an internship which is designed to offer you an option to start connecting theory and practice, what you have seen in classes now with engaging in an actual involvement in a concrete space. Examples of internships include working with a governmental or non-governmental organization, a faith-based group, interfaith group, and so on. If you prefer, for instance, to go into research, then you can do an internship in a place like the Amsterdam Center for Religion, Peace, and Justice Studies. Of course, you can also choose an elective course or different elective courses which from the wide variety of courses that the VU Amsterdam offers based on your own expectations and on your own interest in study. Every other year, we organize a summer school with an interdisciplinary group from the University of Hamburg in Germany. We invite different teachers and different experts around the world to reflect with us in a very unique setting with small groups, non-hierarchical spaces where you can engage with different topics that are important at a given time. Studying the intersections between peace, trauma, and religion often implies that we have to engage with a variety of disciplines. We can see that is the main reason why for us it's so important to work or to focus in interdisciplinary research. We see that reflected in the program as well. On the one hand, we see that reflected on the students themselves who join the program. They all come from different backgrounds, some of them from human sciences, law, economics, philosophy, theology, and so on. But also we see, on the other hand, that reflected in the composition of the courses, in the readings, and in the research topics in general. In addition, the program is multicultural and multi-religious. Starting from the lecturers themselves, which have different backgrounds, different expertise, knowledge gather in different contexts, which brings light into the discussions. But also this multicultural environment and multi-religious environment can be seen with the students, which themselves come also with different or have different religious affiliations, come from different countries in many occasions. So you have really a rich community, a diverse community in the studies program. Parallel to the courses you have chosen, you will take part of the master seminar, which is oriented to provide you individual guidance throughout the whole year. Individual coaching, but also group discussions will help you to basically assess your own progress, but also solve some of the questions you might have throughout the whole academic year. Another highlight of the Peace, Trauma, and Religion program, PTR, as we call it, is the yearly excursion to different place, different location. We have traveled in the past to Colombia, Israel and Palestine, South Africa, and recently to Berlin, Germany, in order to sort of put our own bodies and try to experience what it means to be in a place where there are conflicts or tensions, and at the same time we can witness nonviolence and peace building. We meet with different groups, faith-based groups, politicians, victims, perpetrators, refugees, and so on, And all of those narratives somewhat help us to understand both the conflict, but also the possibilities of transformation of those conflicts in those places. Assessments of the courses usually comes down to active participation, working groups, and writing papers. Additionally, throughout the whole year, you're expected to compose a portfolio, which will help you assess your own or evaluate your own progress throughout the year. Finally, we have the master thesis, the topic for it will be chosen based on your skills and your personal interest. You could also choose the topic or be inspired by the topic yearly chosen by the coordinating team of the PTR program. We chose these topics to try to focus or bring special attention to one theme per year. One example of a thesis from last year was from Janet Mitarjo, a student from Indonesia who was really interested in the topic we had for last year, which was post-colonialism and racism. Her thesis was based on autobiographies. Her goal was to establish or to look at from a post-colonial lens to the stories of Chinese Indonesians in that particular context, in the larger context of Indonesia. Since the whole academic year is divided in 6 different periods, you will have time to manage the courses step by step. At the end of each period, you will have 2 weeks without regular courses, without regular classes. That can give you some time to finish the papers and the assignments for the courses themselves.
During a regular week, I followed 2 courses, Trauma and Violence and Reconciliation. And you're following 4 hours per course each week. At the beginning, it looks like a very easygoing studies, but it is building up into a full schedule studies based on the readings and also the interesting debates and discussions that you're having, and also the specific assignments.
You should be prepared to spend or to invest around 40 hours a week in this master program to really be able to fully engage with it. Yet, if that time is too much, you can also take this program as a part-time study, which means then that you will have more time to do other or to be engaged with other of your obligations. But then the program will just translate into a 2-year program. Each year, the diverse composition of students based on gender, cultural, religious different backgrounds, and their own previous studies make for a very vibrant PTR community.
In most of the courses, you have to write a final paper. And there's one interesting thing about this, that you can discuss your proposal with the professors within the classes before the period is coming to an end. This is providing to you a clear roadmap to writing the paper. This is really helpful because it's protecting you to drown yourself into the multiple resources that you can find. Because you are expected to finish, and it is possible to finish the paper before the period is really finishing.
The summer school, extracurricular activities, and the excursion offer the space to create and to bond with others, with the other students as well. Often that can even lead to long-lasting friendships. Besides all of this, the Faculty of Religion and Theology at the VU Amsterdam offers a variety of research groups and programs in which the master student can join. An example of those research groups is the Peace, Trauma and Religion research group, in which we try to engage, or you will have the option to engage with PhD students and also professors in a variety of topics of interest.
Given the heaviness of the topics within the different classes that you're following, one essential part was becoming part of the PTR community. And this is because you're really having friends within the program, and you're really bonding with each other, helping to overcome or to digest even better what is being discussed and also what we are learning. And this is also a very important part of the social aspect within the PTR program.
By exploring topics from an interdisciplinary perspective, you will be able to analyze contexts of violence and injustice and relate to those particular contexts. In addition, you will have gained knowledge about individual and collective traumas and how to engage with them, how to seek to transform, if you will. examples of successful experiences of reconciliation hopefully will inspire you to implement or to try to apply different restorative justice techniques. We hope that all these skills you have gained and all the knowledge you have gained throughout the year has been somewhat connected to your already experience of internship that you have had, but also that you might enable that experience to enrich your own master thesis. Job prospects for PTR graduates include working as peace builder, but it also includes, for instance, working in advising capacities in governmental or non-governmental organizations. That might be at a national level, but also internationally. This kind of work experience with organizations includes faith-based organizations, for instance. You might find a job as a specialist in religion and law, or you might also work as editor for a publishing house. Or you might become a facilitator in peace processes or an educator in the field of peace and conflict studies. In case you want to continue in the given field, you might want to switch or consider switching into a 2-year research master program, also at the Faculty of Religion and Theology. To apply for this switch, if you will need to have a grade of 8 or higher in average after the first 2 periods of your academic year. In this particular case, the 1-year master program then will be equivalent already the first year of the research master, so you have already made progress in that track, so to speak. In the past, we have had students which have decided also to extend that even 1 more year, making it a Master's in Divinity program in the Faculty of Religion and Theology, or some others who have even joined in a PhD program. The Peace, Trauma and Religion Specialization Master is one of the few programs worldwide which combines specific knowledge about religion and trauma studies to analyze peace and conflict, the field of peace and conflict studies. The PTR Specialization Master is coordinated by the Amsterdam Center of Religion, Peace and Justice Studies at the Faculty of Religion and Theology in the VU, Amsterdam. It counts with different experts in the curriculum. Those experts basically are known researchers internationally that go all the way from Russia to Colombia, from South Africa to Serbia, which will be then offering you the option to get deeper and very specific knowledge based on your own personal interest. I am myself an example of this diversity. I, for instance, come from Colombia and I am doing research between psychology and theology.
I studied the Peace, Trauma and Religion Master, and then I switched to the Research Master in the same field. This was because discussing and debating with the studies helped me to understand the similarities and the differences of the different contexts with implicit or explicit conflicts. Secondly, this program is not limited only to people that are part or feel part of one religious system. We have students from different religious backgrounds and also non-religious backgrounds. But this part, when you're really having the conversation, when you're being as an equal with the students but also with the professors, you're really developing a different experience as a student, as a researcher, and also as a part of a community within of the faculty.
Additionally, professors of Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, and Christian theology are ready to support you at the Faculty of Religion and Theology. All of this offers you the possibility to follow your own interests, your own particular focuses on research, and get the support to do so.
The encounter with the otherness, with the other, it is really helping me to reinterpret my own identity because you're exposed to persons of different contexts like Indonesia, the Netherlands, Germany, etc. Last but not least, there is a very relevant part within the faculty that is the diversity that you can find. And also how accessible is this place. You can really talk with the professors if you have different questions, and also you can find different supervisors for the papers or also for your thesis. And this is giving a lot of uniqueness to the program because it's not only the program by itself, it's also the environment that it has. And this is also sort of reflecting the diversity that you can find here in the city of Amsterdam. Well, after following the PTR track and also the Research Master track, I'm realizing that I'm loving this place, not only as the specific building also is with the people, but also the context that you can be involved with.
If you're interested in knowing more or getting more details about the program, we invite you to visit our website. Otherwise, we look forward to having you next year with us.